In a few moments from now, Prime Minister Modi will meet top political leaders from Jammu and Kashmir at his residence in the national capital for a key all-party meeting. This is the first major outreach by the centre to J&K leaders since the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019. Home Minister Amit Shah and J&K Lieutenant Governor have reached the Prime Minister's residence already. Mehbooba Mufti, we are told, is on her way. Farooq and Omar Abdullah are also going to attend this meeting. A total of 14 leaders from Jammu and Kashmir have been invited for this meeting. So this is an all-important meeting that is going to take place today in the Prime Minister's residence. All eyes on this meeting, as this is the very first time since the abrogation of Article 370 that political leaders from the regional parties of J&K are meeting the Prime Minister and the Home Minister. Ayushman Kumar joining me with fresh inputs. First of all, Ayushman, tell us what's happening on ground. All these leaders are supposed to congregate at the Prime Minister's residence. Have they all arrived? And what time is the meeting starting?
Well, in a few moments from now, Afrida, the meeting is all set to start. The top leaders from Jammu and Kashmir are here at the Prime Minister's residence. We are at the Prime Minister's residence. Behind me is the 7LKM. My video journalist Mrityunjay is showing you the visuals. Few moments ago, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah came here, and along with, after him, almost all the leaders from all those political parties, around 14 of them, they went inside. And currently, we are being told that if you see the situation here, the leaders have arrived at the Prime Minister's residence. The meeting is all set to begin. We have been told that from BJP, Kavinder Gupta has come, and also MOS for PMO. Jitendra Singh is also here, and Farooq Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti, all of them have assembled here. Initially, we have been told that the Home Minister will be starting will be speaking first, and after that, the leaders, all the leaders who have come here, they will be given the chance to speak, and finally, the Prime Minister will address all these leaders. A key meeting after the abrogation of Article 370 is taking place here at the Prime Minister's residence. Frida.
Yes, Ayushman, stay with us. Farooq Abdullah speaking on the occasion. Let's listen in.
मैं क्यों कहूँ उसके बाद? मेरा जो एजेंडा है मैं वहाँ से बात करके आपको बताऊँ.
Okay, so this development assumes tremendous significance, viewers. Like we have said before as well, that this is for the very first time that there is an engagement between the centre and the leaders of Jammu and Kashmir, some of them under house arrest for a very long time after the abrogation of Article 370. In fact, by calling the stakeholders for a sit-down meeting, the central government has in many ways extended an olive branch to these leaders, including, like I said, the leaders who were held captive. It seemed for a moment as if there is a huge trust deficit, and this is therefore being looked as a confidence-building measure as well. To discuss all of these issues and to ask the questions on what to expect from this meeting, what exactly is on the agenda, both sides of course will have their set of expectations out of this meeting. To put things in perspective for us, I have with me right now on the show Imad Makhdoumi, columnist and political analyst. Good afternoon, Mr. Makhdoumi. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to begin by asking you, at this point of time, all eyes on this meeting, but the primary issue that everyone is talking about is here are the leaders from the Gupkar Alliance, an alliance that was formed primarily to rally for the restoration of Article 370. So that seems to be primary on the agenda on one side, whereas on the other side you have the centre that wants to start the political and the electoral process with, say, sorting the issues of delimitation, etc. How do you look at this meeting and its implications and importance at a time like this?
Well, good afternoon. I think it is an excellent decision which the Honorable Prime Minister has taken, and he has today taken a step forward and invited all the political leaders to come to Delhi and discuss the situation. He wants to hear them out, and he also wants to understand their aspirations and the way forward to restore the electoral democracy in Jammu and Kashmir. See, for any healthy democracy, it is very important to have a very strong electoral process. Although the central government has been able to, do that, with reference to the DDC elections, the recently held DDC elections. So that was the first step to restore grassroots democracy. Now comes the general elections, assembly elections. So I think it's a good step that the Prime Minister has taken, and he has invited them. He wants to understand their aspirations. He wants to understand their concerns, and I think it's the government of India has always maintained that they will restore the statehood for Jammu and Kashmir, and they will also restore the electoral processes which are supposed to be taken in a democracy. And I think we all must appreciate the meeting, and we all must wait for the outcome of this meeting. I am very hopeful that the meeting will end with productive results. While at the same time, I also think that the central government, as well as those political parties who are there today in this meeting, must take every step which is in the interest of the people of this country and the people of Jammu and Kashmir. See, we have to understand that national interest and national security has always been compromised when it comes to Jammu and Kashmir over the past decades. I think both the political parties as well as the central government must take steps, but at the same time, they must ensure that the national security and the national interest should not be compromised in any case. So, we saw
Right.
Mehbooba Mufti saying
Yes.
that Pakistan
So
is a stakeholder.
absolutely, we'll have to, of course, understand that this is that the context here is extremely important. Imad Makhdoumi, like you pointed out, that hopes are high that both sides will come to a middle ground on multiple issues. Let's also welcome Nirja Chaudhary, senior journalist, joining us. Nirja, like we just heard Mr. Makhdoumi as well, that on one side the hopes are high that the Gupkar alliance leaders will be given an audience and a platform to present their issues. But on the other side, it's very clear that the centre is now eager to start the electoral process, to have elections. After all, it's a state that has been under president's rule since 2018.
Look, I think, yes, it's a very welcome thing that the Prime Minister has invited the leaders from Kashmir of mainstream parties, and equally hope-giving that these leaders have all accepted the Prime Minister's invitation, including Mehbooba Mufti, who had reservations at one point, but she's also there. Also Ghulam Nabi Azad and another Congress leader, BJP leaders from Jammu. And as you say, the Kashmiri leaders will present their point of view that they want the restoration of the status quo ante, which prevailed on August 4, 2019, which is the restoring Article 370, which is restoring statehood, and then, of course, looking at election. Now, the government would like to go in for elections first, but the tricky issue here is going to be the delimitation exercise. There is a trust deficit between the two sides, and
yes,
the Kashmiri leaders are asking what is the need for delimitation at this stage, because they fear, many of them fear, that the constituencies may be redrawn in a way which may go against the valley's interest, and more seats may be added to the Jammu area. Whether this will happen or not, but there is wariness, there's suspicion on this front. And of course, legal experts say that there can be no interference in the delimitation commission functioning. That is
yes,
autonomous, so the government or the political parties are not party to it, though MPs from the area are part of it. And
yes,
the
so this is an attempt to build consensus on those issues. Nirja, just hold your thought. I have to go on ground again to our correspondent who will tell us what's happening at the moment. The meeting was scheduled for 3 p.m. Ayushman, over to you.
Yes, Afrida. In fact, the leaders have started to arrive, and like I said, the Union Home Minister and the BJP leaders from the unit of Jammu have arrived here. Farooq Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti, we are being told in a short while they will also be arriving here. So all is set for the meeting that is to take place, and this, like one of the panelists was pointing out, is in a way, for the first time, the centre has extended the olive branch to the leaders in Jammu and Kashmir. Kashmir, and we have been listening to Farooq Abdullah, Omar Abdullah, and also Mehbooba Mufti. No planned agenda as of now. Yes, definitely Article 370's abrogation is on card, but current status of Jammu and Kashmir and also the way forward, how the elections can take place, the democratic process can restart, delimitation is definitely going to be there when they meet the Prime Minister and discuss the topics of Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Ayushman, stay with us. Nijak, taking the points that you made further, you were referring to the fact that, the center, of course, like you said, there's a trust deficit and there are doubts that the Delimitation Commission might be used to skew out the constituencies in a way that might favor the Hindu majority, Jammu. The other issue is, do you really think that the Article 370 issue will be even allowed to be brought up? Because from the statements that we have heard earlier, whether it is from the Home Minister or the Prime Minister, that it has become, almost has been talked about as a non-negotiable issue, that there is no going back on it. So are we saying that there is any indication that there can be a consideration of a discussion of that issue as well, even though no condition has been set for these talks?
Of course, I think if the Kashmiri leaders will speak about it, they're very clear on it. Since the Prime Minister has invited them unconditionally, I'm sure he's going to listen to what they have to say. Of course, the matter is before the court. So it is possible that they take the view that they let the court come up with its decision on that particular issue, which has constitutional ramifications also. It's a very tricky issue. So that could be put aside. But I think the holding of elections is going to be a critical thing to move forward, and there the Kashmiri leaders seem to think delimitation to come after the elections. The government will say delimitation to come before the election. Now, the Kashmiri leaders are saying, why should delimitation not be undertaken with the rest of the country? What is the big hurry to do it now? So that is, to my mind, is going to be a tricky issue. How do you move into elections, which everybody may agree on? Now, the restoration of statehood, whether it comes before you go in for elections or it follows, that is another consideration that will have to be taken up. So I think it will, the fact that they are talking, because there is no solution to this issue, but talk and talk and talk and dialogue and dialogue and dialogue. So that is the way to go, and it's a good beginning that's being made today.
Absolutely. Mr. Makhdoom, your views on the issue of full statehood, because some of the statements that we have heard from the leaders who are attending the meeting today, take the case of Ghulam Nabi Azad, he has made it very clear that the restoration of statehood to J&K is something that they are very clear about, and this is one issue that they would not compromise. So whether it's the regional party leaders or Ghulam Nabi Azad for that matter, most of the leaders attending the meeting today seems to be unanimous on this issue at least. Mr. Makhdoom.
Well, the Home Minister of India on the floor of the House has promised that whenever the situation is appropriate, state will be returned back to Jammu and Kashmir. There is no doubt about that. And he has promised it on the sacred floor of the House. So let us, I would not like to comment on what the situation is currently in Jammu and Kashmir. But yes, there is continued Pakistani-sponsored terrorism, which we continue to see on a daily basis. Yesterday, day before yesterday, we lost a brave police officer.
Yes.
Just yesterday, innocent mobile shop owner was killed in the downtown of Srinagar city. So, these are certain things which the security agencies and the administration will have to see and inform the central government accordingly, whether the situation is appropriate to restore statehood or not. And then it depends upon the wisdom of the Union Home Minister and the other leadership, whether this is the correct time to give J&K the statehood. But yes, as I said, that the Home Minister has promised that statehood will be restored.
Okay.
So that's clear. I have complete hope that the central government will fulfill their promise, and whatever step they take will be in the interest of the Kashmiris. I believe that the decisions which have been taken on 5th August 2019 are also in favor of Kashmiris. I have complete trust on the wisdom of the Honorable Prime Minister of India that he will not take any such step, whether it is the restoration of the statehood, whether it's delimitation or any other decision. which will go against the interest of the common Kashmiris who have suffered for the last so many decades.
But Mr. Makhdoumi, your regional leaders formed this Gupkar alliance with the very purpose of rallying for restoration of Article 370 and Article 35A. So it would be quite unimaginable that they would not push for it. Whether the centre agrees or not, that's a different matter. But Nirja, coming on the issue of whether full statehood, whether, like Mr. Makhdoumi says, it's a matter of when. It is going to happen, but when. But then, do you think that this meeting is going to be crucial in deciding those aspects as well? Will that be a condition set for holding of elections from the other side?
Look, it is possible. As I said, the Article 370 part of it could be left to the courts. It is with the courts. There are so many petitions before the court by different parties and civil society groups. But as far as holding of elections is concerned, that is a way to go. How do you get through this impasse, whether statehood gets restored before elections or at an appropriate time? What is the appropriate time that the Home Ministers talked about? I think that those are questions that will be taken up today. Today or maybe at subsequent meetings that may follow. And then, of course, as I said, this whole tricky bit of the, the delimitation exercise, whether it happens before elections or it happens afterwards, that's another tricky question. So I think those are two major things that probably will be taken up. And let us see what is the way out of it, what is the via media, if any, that can be discovered, so we actually take steps forward in the restoration of a popular government in Jammu and Kashmir, because that seems to be the first step that must take place.
Yes, end to that impasse, like you mentioned, Nirja, and it is also important to understand that here is a state that has been under centre's rule for 2018. That cannot go on forever. At some stage, the electoral process must be initiated. But before that, there are these tricky issues, there are these sticky points, and the decks must be cleared. The stakeholders are being taken into confidence. That, like Nirja says, is a healthy step. Ayushman is with us live. Yes, Ayushman, over to you. Tell us more about what's happening on ground. 14 leaders supposed to attend. Have they all arrived? Has the meeting started?
Well, Afrida, currently we are being told that almost all of the leaders have arrived. Behind me is the Lok Kalyan Marg, which my video journalist will be showing you. If you see here, the media is outside the Prime Minister's residence, and inside is the meeting currently, we are being told, is about to start, because currently the leaders are still arriving, and Union Home Minister Amit Shah, we saw him going, and also the leaders from Kashmir are coming, and the BJP leaders were also there, and the MOS for PMO Jitendra Singh was there. So the meeting is about to start, and we are being told currently that the start would be from the Union Home Minister's address, and after that the leaders would be given time, and final culmination will take place with the Prime Minister's address. Now here we are being currently told that in a short while from now the meeting is all set to start, because the leaders have almost arrived, and all those leaders are there inside the Prime Minister's residence at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg. Afrida.
All right. Okay. So most of the leaders have arrived. The meeting is all set to begin. Nirja, do you look at this as a change of stance? Because we know that here are the same leaders who were dealt with an iron hand. They were put under house arrest. Is this a softening of stance that now the same leaders are being invited for an over-the-table discussion? What, according to you, has caused this change of heart? What were the compulsions really? And what is the bargaining chip that the J&K leaders might have on their side?
Look, there are two things here. Of course, you could not indefinitely go on with the situation as prevailed. Somewhere something has to give way. Secondly, there is international pressure. In the congressional hearings in the United States, this has come up, and the acting Secretary of State, Assistant Secretary of State, had made it very clear that they hoped the democratic rights and normalization of the situation in Jammu and Kashmir would take place. And Pakistan and India are also under pressure because the US is going to move out from Afghanistan, and there is going to be, the situation might get hot with the Taliban. And so there is pressure on both countries also to move towards normalization, to look at the situation in Kashmir also. So I think the international pressure is one other reason why the government may be moving ahead. But as I said, there is the other side of the story also. You could not have indefinitely gone on and on and on with the situation as it prevailed. So it's a good thing, it's a welcome thing that the Prime Minister's reached out to the leaders in Kashmir. And as I said earlier, it is a welcome thing and it's a good thing that each one of them has also responded, that without whatever their reservations, whatever their anguish at what has happened in the last 2 years and all that they've been through, they've been under house arrest, that they too are not speaking the language of anger and bitterness. And I hope the trust, some of the trust can start to be restored between the two sides. And maybe, as some of them have suggested, some confidence-building measures can be taken. You know, the release of political prisoners who are still behind bars, whether that can also take place to create goodwill. All these things will be on the table today, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Makhdoumi, of course, Neerja is saying it is also nice to see that the leaders of the valley have accepted the invitation, not without hesitation. Let's be very clear, PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti remained non-committal till the end and finally, of course, has agreed. But on the point of national security, we know that Ajit Doval has also played a very critical role. Apparently, there was a lot of groundwork done to reach out to the leaders prior to this meeting, and it has culminated in this meeting with the Prime Minister. Over the last 5 days, there have been a number of terror incidents as well in the valley. Do you think national security will also be a primary issue? Because there again, you cannot ignore the regional leadership and you cannot, formulate a policy without perhaps taking them into confidence, Mr. Makhdoumi?
Well, absolutely, yes. You correctly pointed out that, not the primary, I'll say first and the foremost, discussion which should take place in the Prime Minister's house is the national security and the, national interest. These two things have always been compromised in Kashmir for the last so many decades. Even when these political leaders, used to govern Jammu and Kashmir during their governments, they have always, I have no hesitation in saying this, that they have always compromised on the national security and the national interest of India, of the Union of India while ruling in Jammu and Kashmir. So yes, keeping in view the situation from across the border, keeping in view the, severe radicalization of the Kashmiri youth and the, false narrative of jihad by which they are killing innocent lives in Kashmir. Innocent civilians are brave security forces. All these things must be discussed on priority. And whatever decision that the government of India takes in the interest of the nation and in the interest of the Kashmiris must include the national security on foremost priority.
Yes. Right. So there are political issues, there are security issues. This is going to be an extremely significant meeting that is currently taking place at the Prime Minister's residence. 14 leaders from across regional parties, also Congress and BJP leaders from the valley attending this meeting. It is going to thrash out issues of delimitation, issues of abrogation of Article 370, build confidence between the two sides, and the issue of full statehood. All of them, like our experts just said, will be discussed in all likelihood. Thanks for joining us, Neerja Chaudhary and Mr. Makhdoumi, for giving us your views on the subject.